At Webster, I help coach the speech and debate team, so I try to make myself available to students to help them with coaching, listening to individual events, as well as debate rounds. Also, I teach speech communication classes. Currently, I'm teaching interpersonal communication, public speaking, and nonverbal communication. I have been a member of Pi Kappa Delta since I was an undergraduate student. In 1993 was when I joined. And I've always been a very involved member of Pi Kappa Delta. I've been to every national tournament since I joined. And I have been governor of the Heartland province. I served as governor for 6 years. After I stopped being governor, I was elected to the National Council. And I was elected to the National Council after Webster University hosted the National Convention and Tournament in 2005. So I was elected onto council in 2005, and I've been on council since then. And I've served in numerous positions, and now I'm serving as president. Well, as president, it's really nice because I have a lot of duties. I really get to look over the organization. I get to, right now we're doing a lot of really neat things. We're trying to expand Pi Kappa Delta. We're trying to make the name Pi Kappa Delta very much a household name, make the brand very well known. Many communication scholars know Lambda Pi Eta. We want all communication scholars to also know Pi Kappa Delta. So what we're trying to do is get Pi Kappa Delta not only into every forensics team, but also into every department. We want Pi Kappa Delta to be accessible to anyone who's involved in communication at all. So we're trying to get a chapter on every college campus. We've also recently become the National Forensics League, which is the high school organization, the high school equivalent to Pi Kappa Delta, also coincidentally started by Pi Kappa Delta many moons ago. We've become their official alumni partner. So we want high school students, as they leave high school, to come into college and naturally graduate into Pi Kappa Delta. So we've recently hired a national coordinator who's helping us in that venture. We're also trying to spread a new format of debate, which is called public forum. We're trying to get that to become popularized onto college campuses because it is so integral in the high school circuit. The interesting thing about Pi Kappa Delta is we're about to celebrate our 100-year anniversary. So in forensic circles, we actually are very well known. Many people know Pi Kappa Delta. They just have a choice. Do they want to be Pi Kappa Delta members? Do they want to be Phi Rho Pi members, which typically Phi Rho Pi is associated with community college. Another organization that's not as old as we are, but is pretty old, is DSR TKA, so Delta Sigma Rho Tau Kappa Alpha, And up until now, the choice was, do you want to be a PKD member or do you want to be a DSR member? DSR has not been as active for a few years, so really what we're hoping to do is say to their members, please still be a DSR member because we do value DSR, but you can have dual membership. We'd love to have you join us. We're very active. We're growing. We have a national tournament now every year. Our journal's growing. As an organization, we're growing. So we are known, but the challenge is either teams that do just debate or just individual events, and they just want to focus on their national tournament, may not want to be Pi Kappa Delta members because we're comprehensive. I mean, that may be their thought. We don't agree with that. We think, go ahead and focus on just an individual event tournament or just a debate tournament. But in the meantime, Pi Kappa opens our arms to everyone. We want to coexist as an organization with their current organizations. If you're familiar with the AFA, which is the American Forensics Association, they're a very big umbrella organization. We want to spread our wings and be as big as or bigger than AFA and say basically all are welcome. When I was in college, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I was taking some history classes, and I happened to be talking to one of the TAs, and the TA said, well, if you want to be a lawyer, you've got to join the debate team. And I was very shy, very quiet. I'm like, okay, but I didn't. And he's like, well, when are you going to join the debate team? I said, I don't know. And I just kind of kept blowing him off. Finally, he's like, if you don't join the debate team, I'm going to personally walk you there because you need to be on the team. So I went and I met the coach, and it seemed interesting. And so I joined it. I tried it out, and I loved it. And it actually changed my entire life because now I'm clearly not a lawyer, but a communication professor and a forensics coach. So really, really grateful to that teaching assistant for sending me that way. Honestly, it helped me find my voice. It helped me learn to give my opinion, to have a confident voice, to not be afraid to say what I felt and how I thought, and it just helped me to be able to speak up and speak out. The word forensics means something different, a little bit something different to each person because of Quincy, because of lots of TV medical shows and those sort of things. Many people, when they think forensics, they think forensic science, which certainly is probably the mainstay, the main thing that people know forensics as. Forensics means the search for knowledge. And as people competing in debate, as people doing speech, all of us, we're in search of knowledge. So really, forensics is the broad-based term for speech and debate. Some people will say forensics and debate because if you just say forensics, they think science. So if we throw debate on the end of forensics, then they know we don't mean science. So really, forensics is the all-encompassing word. But well, I'll always have a love for the field of law. We get to do a mock trial institute in the summers here at Webster. And so we get just a little teeny taste of law once a year. But what I really liked was two things. I loved the college life. I loved the schedule. I loved summers. I just really liked and admired the life of a professor. I really liked teaching. I did little things like teaching in my church and just, helping out in classes, stuff like that. And I found that I had a knack for it. I really liked it. And forensics, once it gets in your blood, it's really hard to get rid of. And I knew that after my time was up, I just didn't want to stop, and I wanted to help other people find their voice like I found mine. So I really thought forensics was the place for me. Really, what I'm giving you are Michael Bartman's words and probably a few others spiced in there, but I agree wholeheartedly with him. I really think that debate is cyclical. So about every 20 years, we see an organization get real big, and everybody becomes a part of it, and then after a while, it gets really big, really fast, and the small schools can't keep up. So organizations splinter off, and so another organization sort of grows. So while that one's growing, the other one starts to falter. And then the next one grows big, and everybody gets involved, and everybody switches organizations, switches formats, and it's very healthy and very active for a while. And then after a while, it gets really fast and really intense, and then the small schools can't keep up, and then they splinter again. And we've seen that basically happen about every 20 years for quite a while. So I don't remember the original question. I'm sorry.
How has it changed? How has competitive debate changed over time? It sounds like there's ebb and flow, obviously.
So it ebbs and flows, yeah. So it's changed over time in these ways. If you've seen the movie The Great Debaters, debate started, around the turn of the century, maybe a little bit before then. I know DePaul University has a picture on their website of themselves in the late 1800s and horse-drawn carriages going for debates. So it used to be one school went to another school and they, grabbed an audience of the community and they had a debate. And then eventually, actually, Pi Kappa Delta changed debate as far as I'm concerned, because ourselves and DSR, Delta Sigma Rho, we were forming, and we decided, hey, instead of just one school going to another school and doing this, why don't we convene schools, and why don't we invite 4 or 5 schools to get together, and we'll all debate. And that was sort of the birth of the early debate tournaments. And as the debate tournaments grew, so too the numbers grew, so too debate teams on college campuses. So it changed from one school going to another to teams, many teams going into one location. And now, fast forward about 100 years, now we have not only debate, but we have individual events. Currently we have 12 individual events you can choose from, very many formats of debate you can choose from, and programs can choose to specialize or generalize. So really it's changed a lot, but at the core, at the heart of us, we're still doing the same thing. I personally, as the president of Pi Kappa Delta, would like to see everyone unite under our umbrella, because I think we offer people everything they might want. If you come to our national tournament, you can do many forms of debate. You can do all types of individual events. So I really like that we can all get together and do our different things, but I like that we can also specialize because each team has different needs. Each team has a different budget. Each team has a different type of student. At Webster, our students have to work. Many of our students live off campuses, so we have to have a program where students can either get really deep into it or they can be less focused. Other programs, you live on campus, you get a full ride scholarship, and the only thing you can do is speech and debate. You can't have a job. So I like that we have a lot of options because that really opens us up to more types of people, more populations, and certainly welcomes in more colleges. I think to be a good debater, you have to have heart, you have to have willingness, you have to just want to do it. You have to spend time watching the news, you have to know what's going on around the world, and you just have to put your heart into it. You know, you just have to want to be better, you have to be willing to practice, you have to be willing to put your time in, and once you put your time in and really work, like anything else, like any other sport, the harder you work, the better you are. I think ours is an educational sport, and I think some people would say debate is just a game, but I view myself as an educator. So I think while it's a sport, because people can compete in it, people medal in it or get trophies from it, but the thing that we take away, I think, is something that lasts a lifetime. Our students walk away from our sport, and they're smarter, they're better critical thinkers, they're smarter listeners, they do better analysis, and honestly, they do better in grad school, they do better in law school, and they do better in their own fields because of debate. Every possible career you can conceive of, I think debate helps. I think if you have a background in speech and debate, you can excel in any job. And not only can you excel in your job, but you won't, if you go into a job at the entry level, you won't stay there. You'll be management. You'll be the top of your field in a really short time. We've had so many students leave Webster and say to us, hey, you know what, all the other kids at law school, they're working real hard and doing all these reviews, and to me it just seemed like a debate case. So I was able to very easily go through the review, and I ended up at the top of, my class. I ended up making law review. I'm the first student new in law school to make all, to get all these accolades. And it's a story we hear repeatedly. And I don't think it's that we're the best coaches that ever were. I think it's the activity. The activity gives people the tools they need to go on in life. So really, I think it doesn't matter what your career choice is. I think it just matters that you were here and you tried. Some coaches want experience. Some coaches, certainly you can look at a student and tell how much potential they'll have. But what you can't look at a student and know is how much work they'll give you. Sometimes I look at a student and think, this person's going to be a great debater. And then they're busy and they're not interested. And I see the potential and I watch the potential for 4 years, but they never develop it. And then I see another person come on and think, they'll probably be average. And then they work so hard and they're our best debater and we build our team around them. So sometimes you can call it and sometimes you can't. It really all comes down to what a student wants to get out of it and what they're willing to put into it. And just when you think, hey, I know I can call it, I can look at you and tell how successful you'll be, they fool you.
Yeah, exactly.
They fool you. The hardest part of my job, and I'm sure you as an educator would agree, is when we lose students, when they graduate. The hardest part is seeing people you've worked with 4 years leave you. So picking one fond moment is not easy. Scott may have shared this story. Did he talk to you about Jeff Wilson? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we share this. I think we share this moment. But so as Scott told you, Jeff was a fellow who nobody wanted. He was a guy who they said, no, I'm sorry, you can't. You can't. And we told him we could. And we quickly asked our colleagues in debate, we said, okay, who's had this experience? How do we help a student who is legally blind, mostly deaf, who has a cleft palate, what have you done? And everybody said, we've never had it. We've had somebody who's legally blind, and this is what we've done. We've had somebody who's hard of hearing, this is what we've done. We've had somebody with a cleft palate, this is what we've done. But nobody had it all. And we're like, you know what? Fine. We'll make our own rules. We'll figure out what to do, how to help him. And luckily at Webster, we have a great academic resource center, and they helped us. And at first, they didn't want us to take him out of the building. We're like, look, he can't do forensics and stay at Webster in Webster Hall. We've got to bring him to our building, and we've got to bring him off campus. And we've got to bring him places. And you have to be willing to trust us that we're going to keep him safe and let him grow. And, you know, he told us that he had lost his mobility prior to joining the debate team because they were keeping him in one building. He had taken training to walk with his walking stick. You know, blind people use the walking stick. And he had been trained to do that. They made it so he couldn't even do that. He said we gave that back to him. Plus, we took him to the Garden of the Gods. We climbed rocks with him. We took him to the top of Multnomah Falls. There was no place. We took him to Mardi Gras parades. And, you know, just having him there and letting him experience those things, that was a memory. But, of course, the greatest memory was his success in forensics. Was the first time he broke an impromptu, saying that he thought he would quit if he wasn't going to be able to do it, and then just his face, and of course we all cried when he advanced. The fact that at Pi Kappa Delta he worked so hard up to that tournament that he and his partner advanced into deep out rounds in debate. I mean, talk about your sleeper team. These guys went far because they worked. You know, so that will always be a very fond memory. And I guess my fondest memory of Pi Kappa Delta is sort of selfish, but it was when I was inducted as president. Because, you know, Pi Kappa Delta has always meant so much to me, and to be given the honor to be president is one that I will carry with me for a lifetime. Really, it's my greatest achievement, and will probably always stand as my greatest achievement. So I think we're very unique and very special. And it's really hard to explain to you what makes us so unique and so special. It's the feeling. It's the feeling that when students go into competition or when we're at the national tournament, that everybody's rooting for each other, that there's a camaraderie there, there's a friendship, there's a connection. Honestly, what we share is an honorary, and we all share the love of that honorary. And we're not just going to a national tournament to compete against one another. We're going to the national tournament to compete with one another. And I think it's the way we define ourselves and the way Pi Kappa Delta has been branded that is so special. We want to go and root for the other team as much as we want to root for our team. So, of course, everybody wants to win. Of course, everybody wants to be national champion. But it's just as great when somebody across the country wins as it is our own students. So I think what makes Pi Kappa Delta special is just the camaraderie, the friendship, the relationships that people have built, and just the love for the honorary. There have been other husband and wife teams that have taught and that have coached. Okay. The Hickeys were a famous coaching group. The Millsaps have coached. There are other coaches that have coached as a husband and wife duo. So we did not lay the groundwork there, but we are the only husband and wife duo to have both been president of Pi Kappa Delta, and that's a very special honor for us. I think the state of forensics is healthy, and I'll tell you, though budgets are shrinking, though school budgets are shrinking, certainly forensics budgets are shrinking, and we do see teams disappearing. I think forensics is still very healthy, and I think we're still very strong because we just finished our national tournament just a couple of weeks ago. We had 68 colleges, universities, community colleges participating. At the same time, 2 other national tournaments were occurring on that weekend, and we were all healthy. And I think being able to support 3 national tournaments on one weekend, and for us to have 68 schools and over 600 participants, I think means forensics is still alive, strong, and well. I think we're standing at the dawn of an amazing another 100 years for Pi Kappa Delta. I think that my predecessors, my immediate predecessors especially, have laid out an amazing strategic plan for Pi Kappa Delta. I think the way the National Council is working to help grow Pi Kappa Delta is really ensuring the future of Pi Kappa Delta. Because really what I see as mission central is to hold on to traditions that mean so much to people, but help us grow the organization, change the organization where necessary, and keep us a living and growing organization. And I think there's such a commitment to that, and that Pi Kappa Delta is 100 years strong, that if you go into the future in another 100 years, we'll still be here and we'll still be growing strong. And I do predict that we will be on every college campus in 100 years. Somebody save this tape, please. I feel very fortunate to be president at the centennial, and I feel very fortunate that Webster University will be the host of the centennial celebration next year. And so to be president while Pi Kappa Delta turns 100, to be president while we get to host the centennial celebration, to me is more than I could have ever dreamed of. So I just feel very honored, and I'm glad that we all get to celebrate together here on the home campus.